everybody, it's Kelly. Thanks for coming in today and visiting me at Black Thread Studio. So today's an odd day for me because it's Thursday. We're in the middle of October. It is absolutely gorgeous outside. But I was so excited to do this series with you that I wanted to start today. And I actually took a few days off work this week just to have a break. Just to have a break from work and concentrate more on stitching and being here with you guys, because that is my goal. That's what I want to do. That's what makes me happy, and I hope it makes you happy too. So let's see, what was I gonna I had a few things I was gonna catch up on. Oh, number one. Okay, I said I should write things down and I didn't. Number one, okay, I did 2 drawings out of the hat for the pincushion. I really don't know how to handle this. I never heard from Jersey Girl Stitches, even though I put it out there a couple times. And then Dee, who is in the local area to me, did reach out and let me know who she was, but then she's never done a follow-up with her email or any other information so I can make the dang pincushion. It's like, this is how I feel. I want to make somebody a pincushion and make them happy and get it to them. And it's not working out. So I was kicking around the idea, do I do another drawing? Is the third time the charm, or is the third time a strikeout? So as we're coming up really almost to the end of October and heading into the holidays, and I had other things planned for you, this is what I decided. I am not doing the pincushion right now. Thank you for everyone who said kindness matters. Let's just keep that in the forefront of our brains and our actions. I am so sorry if I didn't pick your name and you would have responded so that you could get a pincushion, but I will do it another time. What I'm thinking is maybe after the holidays to kick off January, I will do another little thing and we'll do another drawing, and then I can make that pincushion with you. Talk about pincushions. The last one that I made for you 2 weeks ago, I mean, it turned out, it was cute, but what I should have done, should I grab it in case you didn't see it? I wish I would have flip-flopped the materials around. I wasn't happy with it. I was happy with the construction. I just wasn't happy with the fabrics. And again, these were fabrics that were, you got 2 fat quarters from the West Suburban Quilt Guild, and we were to make something for our kind of gift shop at the quilt show coming up this March. And let me grab it, because I didn't think I was going to talk about it, but let me grab it. I'm coming back. So it turned out cute. I'm not saying I don't like it at all, but in my mind I was thinking, so that you guys can see the applique part, because when Elaine and I were appliquing, it was on such dark fabric, I was afraid you weren't going to see it. I think in my mind I was thinking, oh, go really light. So I was hoping you guys could see when I was appliquing on this, but what I wish I would have done is put this on the front and had more pattern, put this on the front, and then the little bugs on the back. But it's okay. I mean, it's just kind of dull, but it's okay. It's okay, but that's what I would have done. So that's the pincushion. That is still about the same size. If you were to get a monogram pincushion from me, this is about the same size we'll be making. So watch for that in January. We're going to regroup and we're going to pull another name out of the hat. Maybe it was my favorite summer hat wasn't good luck. So maybe in January, I'll put all the names in my favorite winter wool hat and we'll have more luck getting a name. Okay, pincushion. I'm taking time off work. It's the middle of October. Okay. Oh, the live. you guys responded to whether or not you want to do Friday's lives with me in the morning, and I am going to try that. I think, again, so looking forward and trying to get a set schedule, because it's not right now. But whenever I get a recording done, I'm so excited to share it with you. I just post it. So I know I'm not on a regular schedule, but I guess what I'm thinking is in January, this is my goal. I was going to start a Patreon channel, and then I just couldn't make it happen because of my work schedule and timing. And you guys know I still have my mom like every third weekend. So in January, what I'm hoping to do is open up my Patreon channel again. And what I will be doing there, because I wanted something that would be worth it and fun for you guys, is that anything that I'm working on as a lecture, as far as submitting to the Wisconsin Quilt show, or working on a lecture for myself to add to my appearances, if you want to have me come and speak, I'm going to share that and go through that with all you guys, kind of behind the scenes, and then share certain special things with you as I can. So that will be in January. We'll be opening up the Patreon channel again, and then maybe I can start doing the Friday lives. I'll give enough kind of notice so that if you guys want to be here, you can try to be here. So this is what we're doing today, and I'm really, really excited about. Last weekend, did you see that I went to the TOSA Quilters retreat in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin? It was the cutest house, It's called On Pins and Needles. It's a retreat center, and I couldn't say anything more about it except I would live there if I could. If you it wasn't on the lake, it was down the street from the lake. But listen, if you had a pond or if it was on the lake, I would live there in a heartbeat. It was so cute. And if anybody is in the area or it's doable and you can rent that space, I would definitely do it. I'm hoping we do it again next year. So anyway, we ended up going to the stitchery, which I also posted. And when I was at the stitchery, I wanted to show you the fabrics that I bought. Now, you know, I was going to grab something else and I didn't, but I'm not going to run down in the basement, so don't worry. But I was going to grab I'm going to be 64 on Thanksgiving. 4 years ago, for my 60th birthday, I think is when I started, is that one? I think that's when I started my YouTube channel, that November, for my 60th birthday. I was working on a quilt, My Color Is, which is kind of, well, my birthstone, kind of like it's citrine, kind of, you know, that yellowish orangey. So anyway, I've always said that I don't like the color purple, and I really don't. But I'm drawn to this purple, like an eggplant purple that has brown, like a brown base to it. So there's so many things about myself I don't understand, and that's one of them I'm trying to figure out. Or do you even have to figure out why you like a color, or do you just like it? But it surprises me that I like it because I don't like purple. Anyway, My Color Is quilt. I picked out fabric that was kind of my gold topazy color, and this dark eggplanty purple. It was an Outback Wife fabric. Are you guys familiar with Outback Wife fabric from Australia? Kind of more of a old tapestry bark cloth. Anyway, the fabric I picked out that I loved of hers was that eggplanty purple with gold flowers. I am going to get that quilt back out. Excuse me. Just thinking about it made me choke. Hang on a second. Can I say cheers? Stitching together with all of you. Bengal Spice Tea. The Celeste is so good. It's supposed to be caffeine free. I hope it is, because I've been starting to drink that in the afternoons. Trying not to snack as much, but I do love a good tea. And every time I get my tea out and I put my kettle on, I think of my friend Sarah in England and think, someday I'm going to be in England sitting with Sarah and we're going to have a spot of tea. If that ever happens, you guys are coming along with me. So, okay, I was getting choked up about saying that I needed to get that quilt back out. So, I guess it doesn't surprise me that when I was at the stitchery, let me grab the 3 fabrics that I purchased. I was immediately drawn to this fat quarter, the check, because again, it's my color, and it's fall and it's beautiful here. So I am very a seasonal stitcher maker. I don't plan ahead. I like to stitch in the season. True, I don't get anything done for that season, but hopefully, you know, unless it's a day project, like a little ornament or something. Anyway, I say these things in case you guys are the same way and you can relate. Okay, then this is actually a flannel houndstooth. So, you know, who doesn't like a houndstooth, a good check, a good stripe, and a good polka dot, right? So, and a good plaid. So I grabbed these fat quarters. Then I went into the sale room, and it was a minimum 1 yard. Lo and behold, look what I found. This topazy plaid in this perfect eggplant color. It's that purple that has the brown base to it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do something with these 3. I don't know what, but I'm going to do something with these 3. So this is where the journey with how we're getting to what we're going to work on came to be. So if you guys are looking for inspiration or you're trying to think of a next project, I'm taking you through how my mind works, and this is how I got motivated and inspired to do this. So I started with these fabrics, and what inspired me with these fabrics was the weather and going to the stitchery. Now, I know I'm all over the place, but but let me just say this because I didn't respond to a comment that I had on my last video from the stitchery. One of the girls said, well, what's the picture of the pews, you know, with the quilts on it? I thought I said it in my video, but I didn't go back and look to make sure. But the owner, I think it was her dad. Some of the girls were telling me they thought it was her dad who heard the whole story. But he would make quilts out of all the little leftover pieces of fabric. And he made, I think it was 78 quilts that he made. And when he passed away, they put all the quilts on the pew. A lot of the quilts went to family members or friends. And so they had the quilts displayed at his service, and then they got to take the quilts with them. And I think, you know, he made those quilts. Maybe he didn't give them away while he was alive, or maybe he did designate some of them to family. But wow, what a legacy to leave. So I am kind of renewed in my thinking that, you know, whatever I make, somebody somewhere, it might not be my kids, it might not be my family, but somebody is going to, hopefully, with all of our stuff, appreciate them and like them and treasure them. So anyway, that was the story about the quilts on the pews from the stitchery. So to jump back to this, at the retreat, there was plenty of, so, and I brought as an SEW, so snack, treats, whatever you wanted to do. They had the cutest little living room set up that had a fireplace. The fireplace wasn't on, and they had a bookshelf that had these books in it. And I thought one night I just wanted to kind of have a little downtime and went in and started looking at books, which is one of my favorite things to do anyway, is like coffee table books about stitching, gardening, houses, you know, you name it. So anyway, they had this book on the shelf, America's Glorious Quilts. Now this is a big hefty book. Let me see. I just wanted to see if I could say who, I mean, I think it has a lot of, it was put out by Bo, oh, it says Bo Arts Edition, but I don't know. Anyway, if you're interested in this book, I actually think I got mine on Thrift Books or Abe Books, but they had 2 of these at the quilt retreat. And I thought, oh, you know, I have that book, I love it, but I'm just going to grab it and start flipping through it. And I flipped through some other books that I didn't have that I now have in my cart on Thrift Books. So anyway, as you can see on the cover of this is a crazy quilt. Now I don't even know what to say about crazy quilts for myself because I go back and forth. I'm kind of, I don't know, I used to be so black and white, and now I'm just like gray. Like, like I can take them or leave them. I can find the good, I can find the bad. I just feel like maybe I'm too gray about everything. But anyway, I will say I'm mesmerized by crazy quilts. They mesmerize me. Some of them I see and they make my heart pitter patter, and I think, oh, you know, if you see an old antique one in a shop or you see something online, and I'm like, oh, that is so gorgeous. But then there are some that I see and they make my brain go like this, like, oh, I can't take control of that one. And I think, I don't know what I think. But anyway, so I started thinking about crazy quilts. And there is this absolutely wonderful article in here that I'm going to show you. And I just started reading because I'm getting more interested in the history and the how and the who and the when and the what. And this was a pretty long article, but I did go through and take out some of the little snippets to share with you if you're also interested in the where, what, why, when, how. So this article, Quilts Crazy Memories by Virginia Gunn, is in this book. Now look at that. That made my heart pitter patter. It didn't make me go woo woo. Mainly, whenever I've seen a crazy quilt, it is usually some kind of combination of red, black, gold, velvets, flannel, silks, but it's all these deeper, rich colors, which I love. But me, I always have to like go off. I have to go off the road a little bit. So I started thinking, well, okay, let's go back to the crazy quilts. Along with the crazy quilts, I've also been thinking about red work and embroidery. And I was going to do a little video on that. And then the two kind of combined. And I thought they did do a lot of embroidery with crazy quilting, so let's just combine it. So here's how it all came together, and here's what I'm planning on doing. We're going to go through this. It's probably going to be a couple videos, and I thought today if we do the introduction, if you guys want to follow along and do it with me, that would be so great. I would love to see what you guys are working on. And if you don't and you're here just for fun and you want to see me struggle, perfect. I'm here to do that for you. So let me back up to the red work. We will get back to the crazy quilts. I know I can be hard to follow. Okay, this was, and I think I've shown this before, the red and white red work patterns. One book actually has the patterns in it, and the other one has, you know, like quilts and information, and let me find one of the, like the Sunbonnet Sue quilt. I'm looking for a little bit more. You know, all those little individual embroideries. And then this has all the patterns in it. So I've been flipping and flipping through this one. Then I saw this one at the retreat and I purchased this on eBay. A Stitch in Time with Mother Goose. And it's a whole book of patterns. And this one is by Amy Barrickman. So I'm sure Amy won't care that I'm showing these and that we're going to use them for our crazy quilt. My kids really don't care if I make them stuff. So maybe inside of me somewhere wanting to come out is something that I would have made my kids that had nursery rhyme on it. So all of these are kind of nursery rhyme characters, and I absolutely fell in love with this one, the Humpty Dumpty. So I decided, and because that one's big and so cool, Humpty Dumpty is going to be the center focus of my crazy quilt. Now, I usually work in a medallion quilt form where I start in the middle and then I build out. For me, that makes sense to my brain, and it's easy for me just to keep building, and I like the way it looks. So this is going to be the center medallion crazy quilt block of this quilt that I'm going to work on, and I really want you guys to do it with me. You don't have to do the same motifs. If you guys have different books, or if you want to do some other kind of embroidery, there's so many different designs. You know, flowers, animals. I happen to be doing the nursery rhyme characters, teapots, teacups. You guys have seen all that done in redwork. And in this article, in this book, Virginia talked about how the Japanese influenced crazy quilts. And I wrote a few little notes, so I'll talk to you about that, but how the Japanese influenced it and how they did a lot of feathers and like cranes and peacocks and, you know, more of those exotic kind of things. So it can look real fancy. It can look real folk artsy. You can use so many different fabrics, and I'm excited to start it with you. So we're going to do a crazy quilt. I'm starting with that, and let me show you the takeoff on the fabrics. And then if you guys want to, I did write down just a little snippet of crazy quilts, so we know just a little bit of the history. Are you guys excited? Are you? Let me know. Can you do, well, don't thumbs down the video. I was going to say thumbs up or thumbs down on crazy quilts, but don't do that to the video. You can only do thumbs up on the videos, right? So, but I would love to know what you guys think about crazy quilts, because again, it's kind of like I'm gray, you know. Some of them I love and some of them drive me nuts. Okay, so off of this grouping of fabrics, I'm not going to move the camera right now and show you down, because I will have you down a lot while we're working on them. But look at, so I went through and I dug out off of this. I went through, oh, I got this one at the stitchery as well. And you'd think that it doesn't match, but I liked how it pulled out the black and the houndstooth. And this is what I started building on. I went through and found all these mustard colors. This one's more orangey. It's a flannel stripe. Kind of an orangey to topaz little plaid with some gray. Here's my eggplant colors that I'm going to use. that's the perfect one. I even pulled a little bit of a taupey brown, more gold, all of that. Then I found this had been a man shirt. Well, I have that one too. But this was a man shirt, kind of silky, that I found, and it's a little bit more of a yellowish. I'm using this in another quilt, but I thought this would be perfect. Wouldn't that be pretty to do the embroidery on? And then I kind of pictured the embroidery, instead of it being red work and using red, I went and got all these different DMCs and in the pearl cottons, and I thought the embroidery could be either out of the purple or the brown, and then all the embellishment stitches will be out of these golds and taupey colors. So let me show you here. That. So when I was off yesterday, I thought, you know, I never get a chance to go running around and go to the store. So I went to Joann's and got these. And then there's a pretty good Goodwill store that's local that I don't get a chance to go to really because I'm always at work in a different town. So I went through and I thought, you know what? I really want to do more of this kind of look. And this reminded me of a man shirt. So I went into Goodwill and I just started looking. Now, I always start at the like extra large or extra large when I'm doing this because I want as much fabric as I can find. And this is what I found. Now, Goodwill's getting expensive too. Most of these ranged from $4.99, $5.99, $6.99. So I got that one. I will be cutting these up. I will be doing that with you. Kind of a little pattern plaid, which I thought pulled in these colors nicely. This one. And then I had this one at home. So if you guys can see how this is all going to work together. Now, I did find, I almost hate to cut this one up, you guys, because it's a Ralph Lauren polo. And it still had the tag on it, so it just came back from the dry cleaner. But it's such a beautiful cotton. And it's a teeny tiny, let me see if you can see it. It's a teeny tiny stripe. So between this and just this little piece of this one that I had left of that silk, I'm gonna do the Humpty Dumpty on this one. And that will be the center. And then between this and this will be all the other embroidered pieces that will either have the brown or the purple on it. So I have no idea how big it's gonna be. I'm just gonna start and I'll have you start with me. It might be something that we do over time and I just bring it out here and there and do another block. It'd be fun to do a whole block with you at a time and then at some point start putting it together. So as far as putting it together, I'll show you what I'm thinking. And I'll show you the examples that are in this book that we were already looking at. So, Japanese used a lot of fans in their motifs too. Okay, now, as you're looking at these with me, let's decide on your own or together if they make your heart pitter-patter or if they make your brain woozy, okay? But I've really been studying them to see what I do or don't like. So, this one if you can see how it's more sectioned off into these bigger squares, and each one has a motif in the center. That has a little bit more order, and I know it's crazy to say order when you're looking at something like that, but that has a little bit more order for me. And I like how big squared off it is. Okay, this one, I love it. You can see it's a little bit more folksy, but that's really not what I'm going for on this one. Not a whole lot of embellishment, if any, on that. It's kind of just crazy patched together. This one is more of that center medallion, and it built all around that. And then look how cool they did the border. Appliqued and stitched embroidered border, and each border is different. I really, really like that one. There's really quite a few in here. This book is awesome. Another one that is a little bit more simple. Some stitching and embellishment, but not crazy. And I love that horse. Doesn't your eye go right to that horse? And then you can see over here the embroidered flowers. Okay, this one almost has kind of a modern, contemporary feel to it, doesn't it? Just kind of more abstract shapes, maybe because they're more curved and round. And this book is heavy. You know what I'm going to do? Here, I'm going to bring you down so you can look at it with me. Maybe this will be better for both of us. Okay, here's another one that is similar to what I'm looking at, where it has the medallion and it's kind of more square, you know, squared off, but still a lot going on. Kind of same with this one. Okay, let's see. On this one, that has a lot of embellishment. It has the appliqued border. I like this one. Appears like it might be the one on the 2-page spread that I showed you. It has a lot of more folk artsy motifs. You know, the elephant, the rooster, the birds, a lot of animals on that one. This one has a little bit kind of a lighter, brighter tone to it. Has the birdhouse here, a basket of flowers here. Oh, look at the sweet house in the center there. To really do this justice, I should be telling you guys who made each one, but you can always get the book, right? Okay, look at this one with that center medallion that almost looks like pendant flags with, it says father, mother, has Willie, it has their last name, Henry, Annie, George, all the family members in the little pointed flag parts. Now that is oh, and the alphabet banner up here, look at that. I mean, what a collector. If you were in that family, wouldn't you love to have that? Okay, now, do you see this one here that's kind of like a sphere with the stripes? There's a quilt that I saw in another book that has kind of a fan motif like that. This is kind of the idea that I'm going for on my center medallion with the Humpty Dumpty, is to have some kind of spherical pieced spokes coming off of it, and that will be the center. This one, Louisville, Kentucky. See the colors, how they're mainly, you know, I love that blue, the denim-y color. Almost always has some red, black. Have you picked out your favorite? And I think that might be it. These are the end of it. A little bit more contemporary. I guess more contemporary is less stitching and embellishment. Some of the others had more embellishment. So let me give you just a little bit of the history that I read about in that book by Virginia Gunn. So I'll bring you back where I can see you. So I just made a few little notes. I find it so interesting. You know, when I was in school, like I know 7th, 8th grade, I'm not going to say I didn't like history, but history scared me. I don't know why. Like I didn't, well, it could have been the teacher, Mr. French. He wasn't scary mean. He was scary, like feeble, which isn't very nice. He was a good teacher. Let me put out a good note. He was a good teacher, but I was always kind of scared of, because I didn't want to speak about something I didn't know about, and I didn't think I was smart enough to know about it. And then in high school, I just didn't like history at all. And I'm thinking, God, what was wrong with me? Now I want to know all about it. Maybe that's just the cycles that we go through in life. Okay, so I said that on my Patreon in January, a lot of what I'll be sharing is the things that I'm making for my lectures and how I'm putting those together, because I think that will be fun to see. I hope you will too. And I will tell you, although I'm starting the crazy quilt, as I started thinking about this and reading more history about it and working on this, I think I'm gonna, okay, I was gonna work on the lake quilts, and I'm still gonna do that, but there's other things that I want to do with those, which is making companion hooked rugs that I think is going to take me a little bit longer. So in my mind, I want it to be done now. But in reality, I think I should put that lecture off for like a year or two out and make sure that I can get everything made and done properly the way that I want to do it. And I'm thinking that I'm going to start this, and I think it will be fun. Maybe I'll submit this to the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show. It has to be by the end of December as my lecture for next year, and hope that they take it on, and it will be crazy quilts. What do you guys think about that? I'm kind of just thinking that right now. What do you think? Maybe. Yeah, I think let's think about that. Okay. Crazy quilts. This is what I learned. Maybe I should have a nice picture of this up here while I'm reading it too. Here. Okay, there we go. Okay, crazy quilts, right? Okay, let's see what they say about them. Origin, from what they can tell, was about in the 1880s in England, US, and Australia. They came about as Victorian furnishings and accessories, especially to greet, okay, I know you can't see, the top of my head is cut off, hang on. Hold please. Okay. So they were made, they knew that they would be made for beds, so especially with the stitching and the embellishment, and they were done in finer fabrics, you know, silk, velvets, satin, and they were embellished more. So they were put more out in like the greeting room of the house, you know, where they would gather for friends, company, family, and neighbors, and have them more on display, you know, to like over a chair or a table or something. And the whole idea was that they were proud of their work, and that to be seen and appreciated, you needed to, you know, get up close to see the stitching and the workmanship, and they were proud of that. So they were more for show. Okay, what is a crazy quilt? It's a foundation square of fabric, usually muslin or cotton, or back in the day they called it calico, covered with odd shapes, pieced together from what I've already said, silk, velvet, more of the contemporary as we moved in, probably had some corduroy, laid out in random, asymmetrical fashion, not in order, and they those pieces overlap each other. And then the overlapping on those seams is where you embellish with stitching. Let's see what else they had to say. Oh, do you find this interesting? They've been trying to find out if they could speculate who the maker of the first one was, and they don't. I'm going to research that more because I would like to see what they think about that. But in this article, that's what she said. Okay, isn't this kind of struck me funny too? They first called them crazy bed quilts, and it was from the World's Fair. Hang on. Where did I write it down? They showed up at the World's Fair Centennial Exhibition in Philadelphia. Now, I didn't see what year that was, but that would be easy enough to Google. That is what sparked an interest in the decorative arts from the displays from Japan, and the Royal School of Art Needlework is what inspired them to make these unique crazy quilts. The Royal School of Art Needleworks was founded in London in 1872, and the reason I know so much about that is because if you listen or watch Fiber Talk with Gary and Beth and Jennifer and Cindy, it's one of my go-to things. I love listening to them. They talk about the Royal School of Needlework all the time, and have had several guests from there. It's fascinating. So anyway, isn't this interesting? The word crazy quilt was coined because crazy was a word used to describe a quilt that they thought to be unusual or grotesque. She used the word grotesque several times in this article. I was like, really? And I guess maybe that's that's the same as making my mind go woo. But grotesque, that seems kind of severe and dramatic, doesn't it? But anyway, and then it also stated what I've already said, what most of the Japanese motifs were. For us here in America, well, it doesn't say Australia, but I'm guessing probably there too, and England, it was mainly nursery rhymes, which is what I'm going to do, flowers, animals, and again, either taking on a little bit more coiffed look, or a little bit more of the folk art and kind of raw, homey look. So it even said that since they weren't used on beds, a lot of them were embellished on the borders with tassels, fringe, braids, and laces. So that was just a start digging into crazy quilts, because I kind of want to jump into this and do a crazy quilt that's not the traditional colors. I'm going to be doing the eggplant, the topazzy, kind of a taupey brown. I think I was looking at my floss. I think in some of the embroidery, just to make it pop, I should use another color of floss. I did have, I had a green and a teal and a blue out. I didn't find the right color, but I will do that. So anyway, I wanted to do the introduction. We are going to start with the Humpty Dumpty, just the center embroidery, and kind of laying out and seeing how we're going to piece that. So, excuse me, I hope you stay tuned. I'm hoping, since I took a couple days off work, I will definitely get this posted. I'm going to try to do a little bit shorter videos too, so maybe split them up. I said that a couple videos ago, and then, wouldn't you know, I totally blew it off and I put the whole thing together. So we'll do that. I'll do another video where we will start. We might just get started with that first block right now and see what happens over the holidays. I am going to put, I know I say okay and too much, and I am going to try to, take care of that for you. Anyway, at the end of this video, I am going to put a couple little pictures. Elaine finished her applique shells. She did not make it into a wall hanging. She made it into a pillow, and she put it on her sun porch, and it is adorable. She did such a good job. That is what I have to do, is work on my bird. Maybe that will be next weekend, since we're not doing the pincushion, since that's going by the wayside right now. I think I will finish up with the with the bird. I also got this at the Stitchery. Look at that rickrack. And that will go, my bird's right here, let me grab it. I was thinking that I didn't get too much farther on it because, you know, I'm working all the time. Is that gonna go? I think it will. I'll figure out some way I'm gonna use this. I don't know if I'm gonna make mine. Now that Elaine made hers into a pillow, I think I will too. She did end up layering it and quilting it. And then she added fabrics to the side, and it evolved as she was doing it. She wasn't sure until she got all the edges on, and then decided that she was going to do a pillow instead of put it on the canvas. So I think that's great. Again, I'll slip that at the end, and I'm going to be back with you, and we're going to start stitching on Humpty Dumpty, or whatever you choose for your center embroidery medallion of our crazy quilt that we're going to be working on. So enjoy the day and come on back for part 2. Bye.
Well, I did it. I actually made this pillow. I did get the blue stitches here and there on here, so that kind of brought it all together with this blue. And there it is.